What's up to all my freelancers and creatives? This is Nathan, and in this video we are going to dive into how to create an agency website. So in the past I had two websites. I had one website that was focused on my personal brand, nathanallotey.com, and that has turned more into a teaching arm. It used to be a portfolio site specifically, but now it's where I do all of my teaching, coaching, strategy, and things like that. On the second website that I used to have, it was my agency website, infocusmedia.com. Now, if you've seen the video where I talk about always be authentic online, I talk about how I wrestled with how to portray myself online. I didn't know if I should portray myself as a full-scale agency or just as an individual. But regardless of that, now my branding is a little bit more clear. And as I mentioned, personal brand is coaching, strategy, and different things like that, like this video you're watching now behind the scenes. And my brand is In Focus Media, where I still do client work and things of that nature. So rather than do something in silence off camera, I'm going to bring you into my process and bring you in behind the scenes so you can see what it is that I'm doing. I am going to create a mock-up for my new agency site in Sketch. But I normally use Photoshop and different things like that, so this will be my first time trying Sketch. We'll see how that goes, and let's walk through the process. So here we are on my desktop right now, and on the desktop, you see my site as it is now. And as I mentioned, this is my site, my personal brand. There's still ways to work with me. There's still things to connect with me and talk with me, but it's not everything that I do professionally, right? It's just something that's related to my teaching arm. But more specifically, I want to have my agency website, and I'll tell you where the inspiration came from. So I watched an episode of The Future, and The Future is the brand of Chris Do, and what he is doing is literally teaching everything he learned about design and business and showing behind the scenes of his agency that he has. And it's a great channel on YouTube, great brand. I've learned a lot from them. And, I want to continue to learn from them. But they had a product called The Perfect Proposal. Now, in this product, on The Perfect Proposal, you can literally see what's in it. Basically, they say we've been making proposals and pitching it to different companies, and we've done it over and over, and we use the same layout. We use the same template, but we switch it around per client. And they want to make this available to anyone who wants to use it. So if you purchase this, you literally get the same proposal that they use to land clients, right? So I actually purchased that. Now I made my own version of The Perfect Proposal. So I did purchase that, and I customized it to be for my own brand. So you can see here, I have different slides, and I walked through the whole process, a few things that are in my portfolio of my previous work. I walked through that, and I have that here. And I have used this and pitched this to clients. So this is pretty amazing because, now if somebody says, I'm interested in working with you, I literally change a few things and send this off to them. So they have this. And of course, I change it based on who I'm working with because I've done so much work. I only craft it to make sure it's relevant. So yeah, that's what I do with this. But more specifically, this also had me thinking that I don't want to rely solely on sending a proposal. I definitely need to bring back my site and have more case studies on my site specifically, because even though this is a proposal, when I get down to I'll zoom in a bit, when I get down to my previous work and I show what I've done in the past and I walk people through, this is what I've done. You don't get to see the full story of everything it is that I've done, right? This is just very visual. This is an overview. You can just see some of the work that I've done and why is it important. And, but you don't get to see the results and tell a story just because this is more visual. It's slides. It's a slide deck mainly used for presentations. So knowing that and having that be my work, specifically, I wanted to expand upon these slides, make it better, and make my own site. So that's what we're diving into today. So though I wanted to have my own agency site, you know, as I mentioned this earlier, I had a dilemma. Do I just hype myself up, or do I talk from a perspective like I have a team? And the truth is, I'm an individual, but I do collaborate with other people to get things done. So it should be an agency, but it's going to be somewhat of a hybrid. So back on the screen, there's this website by Jared Drysdale. He is a designer, he is an author, and I like how his site lays out. He just says, this is the studio website for independent designer Jared Drysdale, and you can find out more about him individually. And he just talks about, you know, this is what I've done. I've written books. I'm open for work. You know, this, that, the other. He has some blog articles, and he has some projects. So you can actually read about what he's done, and he's showing his case studies here. So I like that. I like the fact that he took an approach saying that he's an individual, but he gets work done and he shows evidence of that. The other half of the spectrum is I like how blind.com has their site set up, and this is the website for Chris Doe's agency, Chris Doe, who's the founder of The Future. I like how the site is laid out because they focus specifically on their portfolio. It's very simple, very straightforward, but they focus a lot on their case studies, and that was also what would be the focus of my studio website. It would be, I want to tell the story of what I've done and how I overcame certain obstacles, and I thought very strategically about solving problems. It wasn't just something that looked good. It was something that I thought about and I had, and I was able to work through problems. I wanted to show that. So I think a merge of these two will be pretty much the answer of what to do. So in order to prepare for creating the website, I printed out some, you know, graph paper, some wireframing paper. This is sneakpeekit.com. I went here, printed some things out. I sketched some things down here on this piece of paper, just as a guide. Normally I would physically write down a specific wireframe and my thoughts. Then I would take it to a higher fidelity wireframe, whether it be I create that in Photoshop or some other wireframing tool, Sketch, and then I'd go from there after showing it to the client. But in this case, I'm the client, so I'm just going to go from whatever I drew to specifically Sketch. And Sketch is a digital design toolkit. It's just as powerful as Photoshop. I'll say it like this. It's like a mix between Photoshop and Illustrator, but specifically for design, whether it be mobile design, UI, UX, UI being user interface, user experience, prototyping, right? You want to give a preview of how an app works prior to you coding it out and designing it out. It's perfect for that. So Sketch is amazing. It's quick. It's created specifically for this task. That's why Sketch is a little bit more user friendly as it pertains to Photoshop and Illustrator. Illustrator is for a lot of things. Photoshop is for editing photos, but can be applied to other things. But Sketch is for design and design projects, so it's perfect. So I'm going to be using Sketch, and let's hop into it. But right before that, there's also this tool. This is the Noun Project. They actually have a tool that lets you pull different icons from there, and I'm going to use this. So let me download this now, and we will get started after I log in and download everything. Right before we hop into Sketch, I want to highlight something that is important. I have written out a whole bunch of my thoughts and a lot of the content that's supposed to go on the home page. I've written it all out on a Google Doc, and it's 7 pages long. So I've said this in other videos, but I'll say this here too. Make sure you're designing around content, not just trying to figure things out as you're also trying to design. You know, you don't want to waste time doing 2 or 3 things at once because your brain will be overused. It's best to write things out how you'd like to. Then, as I mentioned, I drew a wireframe, even if it's on a piece of paper. And then now I'm going to Sketch, but I at least have an outline or an idea of what it is I want to do. All right, so let's hop in. This is not a Sketch tutorial. This is just me using Sketch to do a mock-up of something I've never used before. So this is practice at the same time I'm accomplishing what I want to for this project. So I'm going to hit the A key and bring up different artboards. I'm going to choose Desktop HD. It's because I like the width of it most of the time. I hit Control L because I want this grid system to pop up, and I will use this to position certain things as I'm designing the page, and I'll go from there. So really, I laid out in my wireframe the following. I had a header, then I had a little bit of intro copy describing who I am, and what it is that I do. Then I want to summarize the services I offer. Then after the services, I want to give a preview of certain projects that I have in the portfolio. I'm just going to preview them on the page. It's going to be 2 or 3. I haven't really decided. Then from there, I will have recent blog posts, because I want to make blog posts or have blog posts that summarize things that are related to what it is that I am doing. So on my site, since I'm offering web design and digital marketing services, I'll have a blog article that says why you need a website. I'll have a blog article that says, how to get traffic to return to your website, different things like that. And then pretty much I'll sum it up with a button saying, are you ready to work with me? That's how simple it'll be.
Yeah, what you wanna do, act loco. Hit them with the O to the flow that I grew up on. Then I grew up on, I'm funny now, high flow for Homer. Words twisted, but I'm sober, Never really been a type to pump. When I get the stand going, I don't like to slow. Mouth moving like a motor when I bite the floor. And I bet they won't stop, let me go. I'ma show off every ability God giving me to go off in. Nobody mad about the beauty of the Vatican or the tabernacle. So when I'm rapping, you can add it in. They're gonna put the shadow, they're gonna wanna put me in a place with pattern. And I'ma damage them every time like a player that's on the cover. I'm at it. God, the original, we bright, look out. Yeah. I feel like I'm Paganini. Paganini. Let me do it. K to the second letter, finna get it poppin', coming out the pocket like everybody get the rockin', doing a Paganini, give it a beat, my tongue is like a violin. Give it to him like I'm not a human when I'm doing what I'm doing, giving it coming like an automatic shooting. Women get the rippin', it ridiculous, and everybody get it speaking about this rippin', and brothers is going in again. But they don't know, even when they got that flow. I don't know why they boast. Everybody's gifts borrowed. Look, producers, directors, skilled architects just do what they do to whom they're connected to. It's the God that chooses the best of who is the one you think they reflected.
Okay, we are at the part where I can walk through what I've built, and I just quickly put this together. I'm not using all the specific images I would probably use. I'm not using the highest resolution or anything of that nature. I'm also probably going to add a little bit of flavor to different things on here. What I mean by that is maybe some small elements to make certain things stand out, like some animations. But honestly, the point of what I created was to be minimal on purpose, because I wanted the content to stand out. I wanted the content to stand out more than anything else. And also, I just wanted to make sure that the information is being read and it's simple. Sometimes too many bells and whistles and graphics and aesthetics can take away from the information that's on the page. I want the main emphasis for what someone reads when they come to the site to be you quickly learn about who we are, what we do, and how we can help you. Those 3 things. Not only that, but the star of the whole website is the case studies. I want you to see what I'm capable of doing, the type of work I've done in the past, but also where I specialize. Not only that, but I really want people to read the stories of the case studies. So just walking through this, it's a quick sample. This is an elephant from a graphic of a campaign I did. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. That was the concept there. But really, it'll just be a background image of some type of graphic and or information there. Actually, let me change the background of this to make it darker. Let's see what we got. Oh, the rectangle is hidden. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. Let me change that really quick. Make sure that's visible so that if I make the opacity, it'll change a little bit, but that also means the rectangle should be darker. Something like that. Okay, great. So you got the header image. Really, as I mentioned, the focus needs to be this message. And dang, there's a word missing here. What happened? Transform. I guess I'll say transform. Sure. We transform goals into a creative work by bridging the gap between creativity and business. So I might change this to make it stronger, but the whole thing is someone has an idea. Maybe I'll say ideas, right? We transform ideas into creative works by bridging the gap between creativity and business. Something like that. Needs a little work, but I want that statement to stand out, and I want this to people to really understand that. Let's make this a little bigger. I want people to really understand that when they come to the page. That is the main draw I want people to see and really get, so they know they'll probably have an idea and they need help transform it to a digital campaign or something like that. Going from there, I state simply who I am. We are a digital marketing consultancy. We help businesses position themselves around their unique value, then build a digital strategy focused on producing results. I'm using we, even though it's just me, because I personally do work with other creatives, and I'll explain that on the About page. But for this first page, I'm using we. When you get into the site, it's simply going to say this website is the independent web studio of Nathan Allotey, but he collaborates with other creatives on your specific project, which is true. So I'm using we on the home page. I want to call out the things that I do. Digital strategy. This needs to say identity. It says strategy for whatever reason. So I'll change that really quick. And discovery. So in other words, some type of digital element, campaign, whatever it might be. Strategy, the planning phase. Identity. A lot of this has to do with branding. Some people don't know who they are, so their campaigns are very muddled, and it's hard to find or know if they're reaching their goals because they don't know who they are. And then discovery, really diving in and finding out what is the unique value, what is the problem we're trying to solve for. So those are the things there. Let me just align this the right way. Got some filler text here, and they can see the full capability if they go a little deeper. And in this, I want to show off certain creative works. More specifically, I want to highlight the fact that we have different projects, and these will probably rotate, but more than likely, as I write case studies, I will add them to this. So the more case studies I write, the more it'll come to this page, or maybe I'll get some stats behind it, right? Maybe I will write quite a few different case studies, and whatever comes out to be the most popular, then those will make it on the home page, right? And I was just trying to show some versatility here. I'm actually going to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we have a campaign that I did a lot of things on right here. Then we have Freelance Jumpstart, which is an online course. And then we have collateral I did for a men's conference as well. So just highlighting those three things. These two were comprehensive campaigns. This was a little more specific of an application. Still was able to do it. Then I want to, have a blog and just talk about certain issues that are going on. I want all of these blog posts to relate to what a client could benefit from. So in other words, they're going to read it and be educated and empowered to make a decision with that information. So it's going to be related to something that could help them, and also something that relates to working with me. Going from there, CTA, call to action. Are you ready to collaborate? And I'll do something with the footer. So really quick, that's it. I mean, that's something I strung together pretty quick. A simple home page, which says, again, who I am, what I do, and how I can help. Those are the three main things, and then they can see these. All the rest is just reinforcement. So thank you for taking the time to check this out with me really quick. This is just step one, right? And again, wrote everything out. I have a lot more extensive pages written out, but wrote everything out, the logic of where this came from. I have a proposal, but just sending that out, people want to see a website, so again, I'm branching out from our personal site to have a studio-based site, and it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and I'm going to create what we see here. So the next video you'll see, I will make another page, whether that is an about page or a case study page, and we'll expand upon that. So again, thanks for checking this out. This has been Behind the Scenes, and I'll catch you in the next one.